Okay, so I'm just going to cut this in the middle of the music because I don't care. I'm going to put it back together. So I'll just go to edit so I can pull the tape out easily. See how that works? Mm-hmm. Well, I have to have some tension on it, but now it's like a yo-yo. Okay, but then I want to stop it once I got it out so it's not pulling back on me. So I'm going to I'll randomly mark a piece right here. And Sile is amazing. She can do it by feel. I need to see it. So, but she's got visible differences that give her different and amazing talents. Now, there's a box of razor blades somewhere, is there not?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just going to get out behind you. If you use razor blades, I don't want to do that.
So
he'll be in the firing line if he forgets to take one off the top of a reel. That's
there's no
one
splicing
thing.
tape in here.
Never put a razor blade on top of your tape reel.
Yeah.
Time.
There's places you can store them, like on top of the.
Yeah.
This is one reason that these are often tilted slightly. But even so, if you stick it up against the edge of a VU meter, it's convenient and it's not likely to hurt you.
Fly off. Impale itself in the wall.
Right.
So how is it sticking? Is there tape?
So, what?
How is it sticking on the thing?
In here?
Yeah.
Excellent machining. So the bottom of this trough is exactly the right width. The top is slightly narrower. So you feel this as you put it in.
You can see it on this too. This one's the same. If you look at the side onto here, you can see that
right. So it's this kind of a trough. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
But the tape fits in the bottom but not the top, and so it gets held in place.
Oh yeah. Slightly.
And you can see that I can pull it through. It doesn't rise up. It just comes back and forth, right? So.
Okay. Does this work?
Yes, that works. But I'm going to go need to get some splicing tape. There's none on the spool in here. I think I have a dispenser. You have some?
Do any of these qualify?
I do not know. That looks like leader tape.
Okay.
It'll be a small roll.
Yeah, small rail, blue or white. I think I have one in my office. So talk amongst yourself. Feel free to go examine the tape deck.
Yeah, come over here then.
Or if you guys need a break, stretch your legs.
Yeah, just come have a look and if you want me to tell you what any of the parts are. It's fairly simple. Once every tape deck has its own, every manufacturer have their own kind of way of doing this, but always what you want is some way of keeping tension on the tape, and that's this thing here in this case, and then it has to go around to be in front of these, and then these guys here, when you're actually playing the tape for real, you want to lift the tape away so that it'll just rest on those heads. It won't actually dig into them like we do when we're editing. We move those in so that we can scrub. But when you're rewinding or fast forwarding, you don't want to necessarily hear what's going through the tape, so that those little guys will come in and they'll lift the tape away from the head. So you want to.
I'm just clearing my throat.
If we wanted to go about using this device, how would we do that?
Well, next week, I think Tom's going to. Well, we're going to start today, hopefully. You mean outside this time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's normally in here. Probably, I don't know about this week coming up. The studio is very busy because everybody's finishing final projects. Mm-hmm. But, you can book the studio. If you've done the training, you can book the studio, and provided you let somebody know, like Matt, that you want to use the reel-to-reel, maybe he'll watch you do it a couple of times first to make sure that you don't injure yourself, or because these are, you can seriously hurt yourself with this thing if you don't wear anything like a scarf or a tie or anything. Be careful if you're using headphones when you're monitoring, because dangly wires can get caught in these things as well. So they are industrial machines that have very powerful motors in them, so you just have to be very careful.
Yes, I do have some.
Yeah.
So do you have any training?
We don't actually formally do training, but I'm sure, if anybody really wants to use this for a piece of music or something, I'm sure, we could arrange to have you trained so that you know how to do this safely.
Yeah, so, first of all, look at the splicing block. There's a diagonal 45-degree and a straight one.
Yeah.
Used for different reasons. A lot of times people will use the straight edge to attach leader at the beginning or end, but I always use the diagonal because it is literally a physical crossfade, for one thing. So if you're cutting music or speech, you don't get a sudden change, you get a very short transition. You'll notice that 45-degree angle is what you see in Pro Tools when you do a fade. Ta-da! Okay.
But
so, the other thing,
But does the length of it determine the gain?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, this is fixed at 45 degrees, and in Pro Tools you can do what you want, right? But that's why it's shown like that, because it's a ramp. So the trick to this is just be clean and careful. You want to get the blade in the groove and do a clean slice through, like it never happened. And look, there it is, neatly cut. So if I was taking a piece out, I would have had another mark. I would have taken that piece out and put it back together. But I'm just going to rejoin these. I'm going to move across the gap in this case to the flat part, put them together so that they match. Make sure they're both cleanly in there. And then the way I do this, because I hate this tape dispenser, is I actually cut the tape with the blade and then use the tip of the blade to apply the tape. Because it's much easier than trying to get your clumsy fingers in there. Because you want to get it cleanly across the tape and not so it comes off the edges. And then you burnish it so that all that light part goes away, and voila. Spliced piece of tape. Can't hardly tell anything's been done to it.
And now if you play it, you wouldn't probably hear that it even happened.
And spool it back on. So one of the other reasons this machine in particular did that sort of wowie speed change is that it's not, it needs maintenance. And let's see if you can find my splice. Anybody see it go by?
I saw it.
Certainly didn't hear it, right? Yeah. So again, I took nothing out.
Did you increase the pause?
No, I just cut the tape and put it back together. I was just demonstrating the act of splicing in the tool that you guys are going to be using. So it's pretty straightforward. You guys want to cut some tape?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. Just do what Tom did. Just cut it and put it back together first, and then we'll talk about
go ahead.
how to-
You're
where
right
to
here.
pick your edit points.
So you're going to want to just pick a spot, probably not the same spot, mine's gone by, but
Just go forward a little bit because you don't want
just
too many
pretend
close
this is where you
together.
want to edit it. You want to mark the playhead with a grease pencil. Sit down.
Do I mark it?
Yeah, there you go.
Right down the middle of the head.
Right down the middle of the head. Doesn't have to be big. Something you can see. Don't go nuts because you don't want too much grease on there. Sheila needs a bit more because she does it by touch. So you're just going to do it by sight. Now, the edit button, there you go, lets you pull the tape out. So pull it out, but it's going to keep pulling back on you. So pull it out and then hit the edit button again, or stop button, or stop. There you go. Now you have control of the tape again. You want to go to the 45 degree, and you can spool more out if you need it.
Oh, okay.
Slide it that way, right?
Yeah.
And once you get it in there, go ahead and pull it back and forth a little bit, and you feel it's trapped in there, right?
Yeah.
That means you know you've got it seated properly. Okay. You can stand if you like, but that's your next tool. Get it into the groove, one side or the other, depending on whether you want to. I always cut from the top, but that's just me because I'm right-handed.
And not being cut.
So before you get to the tape,
Yeah.
put it into the groove. Tilt it up. Tilt this higher.
And then
Use the end of
Watch.
it.
I'm exaggerating like this.
Oh, okay.
Get it into the groove, and then pull it down across the tape. The blade should never be flat, but you want to keep a finger on the tape so it doesn't move.
Got it.
It should be a real smooth slice.
Do
Yeah,
I bring
quick
it back and
movement.
forth? Or?
No, just one slice. But I think you got it. Or not. No, you don't have it. So, again, you don't want to cram the blade into this thing. Oh, you didn't get it. What you want to do is, I'm exaggerating, is a motion like this.
Oh,
right?
okay,
So you
got
get
it.
it seated and then lower the angle, but just pull it through the groove. You want to make sure that it's down enough that it follows the groove cleanly, but doesn't get caught or off track. Okay. As soon as you're done, you put the blade safely away. And now, line the tape up to. Well, get your tape prepared first, because you're going to need both hands to handle that splicing tape. You don't want to do it on the groove. You want to do it in between. There you go. Just match them right up. That looks good. Sometimes you want to feel it to make sure you're not overlapping accidentally.
so you run your nail with it.
It looks like you did a good job, though. Now you can try and use that tape dispenser to rip the tape off, but I just found it very frustrating.
Oh yeah, that looks like
It doesn't. There you go.
Nice.
And
This
now
is really
use the
long.
blade. Yeah, that's pretty long. But here, let's just cut a piece out. Okay, now take that, and you want to get the blade on one end of it to use as a hand. Don't put your thumb into the sharp part, please.
Do I put this
So
part on the sharp
let
part?
me do a demo here. So I just got this tape off of the reel, right? And I'm just using this as a handle for the tape. And I should never get anywhere near the edge of the blade. It's just something easy. So now I have control and visual access to where the tape is relative to the audio tape. And you want to get it lined up in the groove so you're not overlapping. And then once it's in, pull the blade out, put the blade safely down. Put the blade down. Okay, wrong way. Hide the edge, right?
Yeah.
And now burnish it with your fingernails. You want it to be all dark in there. See how it changes?
Yeah.
Especially to the edges. Do the edges.
That just means it's bound. It's binded, bound.
Right.
Okay.
It means all the adhesive of the tape is sticking to the audio tape, which is what you want. Okay, how's it look?
I mean, I'm not sure if it's overlapping. Can you check?
Well, you know, it looks good enough.
Okay.
You'll get better at it if you do this a lot. But again, you just want to make sure you get, if you got a fingernail, make sure you get to the edges, that's all. I know I have more fingernails than most people, so.
And now you can listen to it and see how it
Okay,
sounds.
now, go ahead, just pull it out of there. And if it falls apart, you did something wrong. Oh, it stays, you're good. So now you want to retension the tape. Either way, it doesn't matter, but you're going to back it up to before your splice to hear it. Okay.
It's out of it as well.
So you have to get
Is this
enough tension on it,
after?
that these tension rollers. So now you can just rewind just a bit. So I'm going to do like a boom, boom.
Okay.
So rewind, stop. A little more. Okay, now, hit play. Watch your splice go by. Oh, okay, let's go back a little further because it did that thing. All right, now play.
Seamless.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, it already went
I
by.
didn't hear a thing. Yay!
Good job, well done, good job.
Okay, so I'm going to zero the tape there. Okay, next.
Bro, next.
So why did it do the wop thing at the beginning? Is that because of the tension?
Yeah, the machine needs
Yeah.
maintenance. It's not
Right,
picking
right.
up.
Who's next? Anybody, come on. Don't be shy.
Let's go. You got this.
Like I said, I find it easier to be seating doing this because it gives
Yeah.
you direct access to the tape, but it's up to you.
Okay.
So just pretend that's where you want to do your splice. Mark it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Middle of the playhead.
Do your best
And
not
you want to be careful not to get grease
yourself.
on the head.
Yeah.
Right? Just get it on the tape. Playhead. Middle of the playhead right there. Just mark the tape. Up and down. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yep, okay, that's good enough then. Just whatever you can see to find the spot. Okay, now, in this machine, edit gives you control so you can pull the tape towards you. Just pull the loop right there. There you go. Pull it towards you, and then hit stop. I think, right? And now you have control of the tape. You want to get it seated properly and right at the 45-degree slot is where your mark should be. So once you get it in, you can pull it back and forth. There you go. And if you're actually editing, you get really good at where you need to put the mark to get the edit to be right. In this case, we're just practicing the physical act, not the content change. So you can be a little
We'll
loosey
talk
goosey.
about that in a minute. We'll talk about picking good.
Yep, take the blade. And remember, you don't want to try to push it in. You want to slide it across. Get it into the groove at the top. Don't need to have a whole lot of pressure on this. It's a sharp blade. It should be like a hot knife through butter or a scalpel through you. There you go. Look at that. Woohoo! Safely put the blade away. Like right up against, like this is safe.
Oh, okay.
Because then none of the edge is exposed, right? Okay, now move your splice to the middle where you're going to be putting the tape on it, right? There you go. Put your tape pieces together. Make sure you're still fully in the groove. That looks good to me. And you want to go get a piece of your splicing tape. And if I were you, I'd cut
take
it
a
with the
little
razor
bit.
blade
Thank you.
because I cut her just as often.
Yeah. I've never had a tape dispenser that works.
One of my entire life. Just be careful. Don't cut yourself. You know.
And an inch is about, like the width of this thing is about as much as you need.
I realize this is all.
Yeah.
It's funny to see you guys being so careful because it's like
We just throw these things around.
do this in my sleep. Okay, now you're gonna attach one end to the corner of the blade.
Right there?
Yeah, right there. Okay, that's good. Just enough so you have control of it now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to center it over your edit. Get it lined up in the groove. And start pushing it down. And then pull the blade out once it's attached. Put the blade down so you don't hurt yourself. There you go.
Screw it.
right. How's it look?
I think it looks good.
Yeah, fine job. So pull it out, retension the tape.
Oops.
Keep going. Okay, now we're going to rewind a little bit. And we're going to listen for your splice. Watch it go by. Not even there, right? Good job.
Nice.
Okay, next. Anybody? Anybody? You all get a chance. It doesn't matter who goes, so.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if you can do it without me saying anything.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
Talk us through it. Tell us what you're doing.
I'm gonna mark where I want to edit on the
Okay.
playhead. There. And then I think I accidentally got some
You just
playhead, but
put it back on the deck somewhere. It doesn't matter where. Okay.
and now I'm going to press edit to bring the tape out
Nice.
and then stop. And then lay it down. And then line it up with the place,
Nope.
the slicing
You
place.
got to cut first.
Right.
There's nothing to edit. To put back together yet.
Was the old UCHQ, was that in the middle of nowhere? And we just used to spend the evenings just practicing and
There you go. And you realign them in the flat spot. There you go. Now, probably want to cut the tape right.
Because it looked like in there, unless you could do it quickly.
It's hard to get off.
That's the other reason, like, if you put it up, there you go.
Okay.
Exactly right. You can pick up the back of it because it's got a stop on it. Oh, yeah. And that's a little bit long, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Better a little bit long than too short. Don't worry about it. And you don't have to attach it very firmly to the blade. In fact, you want it to just stick so it's easy to pull the blade out. But the trick is, the longer the piece of splicing tape, the harder it is to keep it in the channel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So about 1 inch is usually good for most splices. Okay. Looks and feels smooth. You're good to go.
Yes.
Retention the tape.
Okay.
Careful. Okay, and rewind a little bit and then stop. That's fast forward. Rewind. Stop.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to go through a couple of splices. That's okay. Hit play.
This is mine?
Yeah. That's not yours. That's yours.
Joins us at this point.
Nice job.
Researching again.
Nice job. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to go a little farther into the tape. Okay. All right, next.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Do you want to just go forward a little bit in the tape?
I did. Yeah.
Because it's getting a bit.
Okay, so playhead.
So talk us through it. What are you doing?
So
Is that you?
wax pen, playhead.
No.
Don't get it on.
It's just
Mark visibly. But
It's a cool piece. Maybe I should.
edit button. Pull.
And to be clear, using the edit button is specific to this deck. Other decks respond differently.
Yeah.
This is just convenient for this deck. And then
And then
Stop.
stop. There's
Stop.
Well, big button that says stop. Sometimes.
It's too early.
Push it in. Do I tighten it or go straight to the?
you have to
the
cut
laser?
tape. You have to cut the tape before you can put it back together, right?
Yeah, but I was like, you have to tighten. No, yeah, you should be good. Okay.
There you go. Like I said, if you use that edge of this as a lever, you can pick up the safe edge of the blade. And you. So
Slide it-
you did
slide
the
it
crunch
across
version.
instead of
You're,
crunch.
I think you're good, but the slide through is a little better to control, a little easier to control. You got it. You cut it. Very nice.
Okay.
No, wait. Pull it apart. Make sure it's a clean cut. Right, and now separate them. I mean, join them again in the flat part, right? You don't want to try and tape over the slit. You want it to be flat and together. It's just one of those laws of physics thing. You know? I love physics. It works every time.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to want to not do that. You probably want to take that razor blade and cut half of that piece.
Yeah, it's
1
too
inch
much.
long.
1 inch.
It's fine. You can pull 2 inches out. Just only cut 1 inch off. Look.
1 inch is probably
if you- Now it's holding the tape. Okay,
about
now-
here.
yeah, sure. You decide. You're in charge. Don't leave the blade over there. You're going to need it.
Longer than a half inch.
And are you left-handed or right-handed?
I am a right-handed,
Okay.
but it doesn't really matter that much.
Doesn't matter, but you're going to have a little better control with your right hand. Up. That's fine, but I'm concerned with safety. So burnish it. Does it look like it's in the right spot? I'm hoping it was before you pulled the blade off.
It's in the right spot.
I think you need to burnish it a little bit more. It's still fairly light colored, so burnish it with your fingernail. Turn your finger over. See how it gets darker as you rub across? Yep.
Yeah.
Keep going. Make it all dark. It's one of the advantages of the blue splicing tape is you can see that it's actually fully adhered. Okay. You don't want to obsess about it, but you want it to be good. Okay. Now you are doing what?
You pull it out?
Yeah. I mean, you're teaching us here.
Yeah, I'm teaching.
You are. And now what?
I'm just
The tape.
You're retension the tape, right?
attention tape.
Other way. Oh, you can use the
So
other.
this is the supply and this is the take-up. Now, something's gone wrong here. And when you pull the tape out, you pulled it out from between the capstan and the pinch roller. It has to go between those two. So pull a little more tape out. You can just do it from here. No, you don't even need to do that. Just pull a little tape out and lift it over. And then make sure everything's hunky-dory. Okay, now you're going to have to want to rewind a little bit. Okay, stop. Okay, that's all right. We might go through a couple of splices. Yours is coming up. There. Yay! Well done. Okay, I'm going to go a little farther in too. Okay, who's next? Whoever hasn't done it.
Let's do it. Alright, so I want to mark
Talk
the
us through
place where I want to go in the middle.
My
So
friend
the
who's
head's right
here.
Right.
Just like do a little line.
Who's at a recipient?
That's nice. Then I'm going to put it in edit. So
You're going to put it in order to detension the tape,
yes,
right?
yes. And then to keep it in place, I'm going to
Look at
stop.
you, pinky dexterous.
Maybe I want a little bit.
Basically just making
A little bit more what?
Oh my
I'm
god.
fine.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
you're good. Like I said, it gets more critical as you're actually editing content. We're just practicing the
Yeah.
act.
Music class.
And now what I want to do is get this razor blade and cut it down the middle. And my fingernails are not.
Okay, just be safe. Just don't try and pinch the blade edge.
That.
A nice smooth slice.
What's that?
Boom.
That looks
Going on
perfect.
here so you
Look
can
at that.
Yeah, you should get
I want to make sure I have a clean cut.
Yep.
Moving to the flat side.
Yep.
Get a
Keep
piece
the
of
razor
tape.
blade. Cut the splicing tape. And be careful doing that. Don't cut into your finger.
Oh yeah. I'll make sure not to do that.
No blood on the studio floor today.
Not today.
We have wipes just in case, but
You left or
you
right?
don't want to have to
I'm
use
a
them. You want
left.
to be able to return.
Okay.
Put that on there.
Band-aids, to return the band-aids and the wipes.
Turn this to its position. Burnish it.
Always a good goal.
I would like to not be held liable for any injuries.
I didn't sign a waiver.
And
No,
then
yeah,
it looks
no,
pretty
I didn't
good.
make
I
you
can
guys- I
pull it
could've-
out.
In the
See
arsenal.
how it is.
That's good.
Cool.
And you two have pulled it out from between the pinch roller and the capstan. So I keep talking about the pinch roller and the capstan. The capstan, if you feel it, is always turning. That's the motor that drives the tape. When these squeeze together, the tape cannot resist the pull.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it work. And then there are specific settings for the back tension and the take-up tension. And one of the reasons we get that thing is the take-up tension is a little bit too high. Okay.
Does it have to be in
And I
between
want
both?
to
It has to be in between here,
increase the
or
tension
playback will be something.
So is that the
music
only?
like that.
So is that the only thing that like moves it forward?
This is the only. Say it again.
Like that. Is it the only like piece that drives it forward? Like
Yes.
plays the tape.
So this is what motivates the tape, or motivates it, if you want to call it that. This is what pulls the tape through in the direction it's going. Back tension keeps it from just becoming a mess,
Yeah.
and this keeps it from becoming a mess on the way out.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's a mechanical device everything has specific settings for high speeds and low speeds, different kind of tapes, blah, 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 blah. So anyway,
Cool.
you're
And
going to rewind not too
a
far.
little bit.
Watch your splice go by, and then hit stop. Go.
That's it.
Little bit more.
A little more.
A little bit more. Good. Okay.
Let's play it.
All right, play. There it was.
Nice. Look at that.
Hey, you didn't ruin a song. Okay.
And you know,
Who's
this
next?
tape is running at 15 inches per second. So when you
This is 7.5.
oh, is it 7.5?
I think
Okay, you didn't say
let me
that.
look.
But it's running pretty quickly, 7.5 inches per second. So your little tiny splice, provided the ends are nice and neat, really doesn't make a huge
We're
impression.
talking milliseconds.
Milliseconds.
Milliseconds of time.
And normally, you know, for radio studios, normally when you're broadcasting something, the tape would be running at 15 inches
Right.
per second.
But you would also be using large reels for the most part, which are much easier to handle. 7.5 is good for what we're doing today.
Actually, there's one there in a box underneath.
Yeah, I know. I was going to show them.
Yeah.
Just keep on the cutting room floor.
Yep. Pretty much.
So maybe you can spool it out without going to edit if you need a little bit more, right? I just move the reel.
Yeah.
That was a very, who asked the perceptive, how does the tape stay in there? That was a very perceptive question. And now you know why. Good machining. Yes?
What is the difference between 1/4-inch tape and like 2-inch tape?
1 inch and 3/4.
Oh, it's
It's literally the width of the tape.
okay.
This is a 1/4 inch, and there's 1/2 inch.
Or is there like a reason for choosing like a 1/4-inch
Is there
versus?
more dynamic range available?
Well, hang on.
Get more.
You're sideways to that answer.
That's probably
Welcome
good,
right back.
actually.
So, in order to get good fidelity in a recording, you want a certain amount of tape surface, right? In this case, this is stereo, so this 1/4 inch tape has 2 tracks on it, which I talk about in my lovely rant of a document. You'll see. Why do we call them tracks, right? Well, when you get to stereo, it looks like railroad tracks. No one called mono 1 track. It was just tape. But then we had 2 tracks. We had 2 channels, and it looks like train tracks.
Oh, what?
But you can actually see with I have some examples of it. But that's where the phrase came from, right?
No way.
And then, so 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch tape is used for full track mono. Did you go back enough? Wait a minute.
I hope so.
Hey!
Nice.
Well done. So, 1/4 inch tape is used for full track mono, in other words, 1 track. And that has to do with the head configuration.
Follow the pressures at the
Or stereo in semi-professional, like broadcasting, basically, or recording studio. Or you could do, TIAC came out with a 4-track home recording studio, so you could do 4 tracks in sync. As soon as the Beatles used 4-track to make Sgt. Pepper's, people went nuts and said, I want to do that. And so the 1/4 inch tape, 4 tracks, it's basically home recording tape recorders that had, you could reverse the tape, you could flip it, it was a 4-track tape. It played 1 and 3 and then 2 and 4. Right, it only played one direction, but so they had the technology to do that. All they needed to do was to be able to make that record head a temporary playback head, so you could play in sync with what was already recorded.
How do we use point there? Do we have a point
I think this one.
So what?
They also have a recording.
We never played. We weren't playing.
Yeah, every tape machine has a record, an erase record and play head.
happening.
Or like the record slash.
There is an erase, a record, and a play head
Yeah.
on most decks. Cassette decks use the same head for record or play.
Yeah.
But I have never seen a reel-to-reel deck that did not have 3 discrete heads.
Oh no, I think I was just like with the demo yesterday.
So this is, there's a sync mode on this.
Sync mode.
Right, so you can record another track in
Yeah.
sync with the first one, yes. But there's only a little value in that because there's only 2 tracks, right? But anyway, you can do it, yeah. So that's why I thought you turn the record head into a temporary playback head.
Right.
In other words, you optimize it for recording, sacrifice some quality on playback because you don't care.
Right.
It's going to sound great when it's actually played back on the playhead.
Right.
So when you diagonally cut it, are you cutting it like one
Yes.
of the channels?
We're getting an
earlier?
angle on the tracks,
Yeah. So one of the channels are being cut before the other.
correct. And in this case, since we're putting the exact same thing back together again, Did you move it to the flat spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, if you cut it straight across, you do get a bit of a bump because remember
Right.
your two stereo tracks are slightly out of phase.
Uh,
And that's
so
why it's angled that way.
Right. One of the things about analog tape is the laws of physics just keep coming back
Right.
again and again and again. Like the highest frequency you can record has to do with the width of the gap of your tape head. Physics.
And the phase difference between your left and right channels is about 45 degrees, which is why that cut is angled at 45 degrees.
Plus it's a convenient thing to make. Anyway, about tracks, right? So then you get to half-inch tape, and high-end commercial recording studios would master stereo records on 2-track half-inch because they had more tape surface for each channel, better fidelity. A lot of good things come from that, but it's expensive. Most people can't afford it, so they master 2/4-inch tape. Then you get 8-track to half-inch tape. 4-track to half-inch tape. 8-track to half-inch tape, which is about as many as you could do. That's the equivalent of 4 tracks on here, right? Okay, is that you? That was great. Okay, has anyone not done this?
He hasn't.
I missed the.
Force
I'm
him.
just
No,
happy
you got
to
it.
watch.
You got it. You got
Come on, man. You can't get this close and not touch it.
All right, I have no idea.
All right, let me
He'll walk you through it. Don't worry.
let me explain something to you guys.
I mean, yes, you should be careful
Take
with
this
your
to
work
heart.
with the razor.
All right.
I can.
Yeah, you can handle it.
Two thoughts that are going to take you through life. The only things in life you really regret are the things you don't do. You might be sorry you did it, but if you didn't do it, you always went, God, if only I had. Right? So the other thing is, once you get out there and get a job, put some portion of your paycheck into a savings account every time you get it.
Yes.
Starting with your very first paycheck, and never ever stop. You will be filthy rich by the time you want to retire. It's the miracle of compound interest, my friends. Okay. Ready?
Make sure to
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, you just watched it. Well, first of all, you need a grease pencil over there, right? Okay. And you got erase, record, play. So you want the play head.
That's the hope.
Okay.
That
That's
this
it.
is okay.
Right there, huh?
Okay.
And actually, in response to your question, these are both record play heads. Right? It's the same head stack, but they're attuned slightly differently for their task inside the machine. But it's the same physical thing. Okay. Edit button detensions the tape. So you can now just put your finger in there and pull it towards you. There you go. You use 2 fingers.
I don't know, my parents had
Pull out enough. The tape machine's going to fight you, so you want to pull out.
They found
And
like
then
a
just stop.
dime under the couch and they're like, wow.
There you go. Now you got control of the tape. Fit it down into the slot, and you'll feel it when it goes in right. And just fit and feel. Oh yeah, there it is.
Okay.
And now you can slide your mark to where you want to cut it. Right in that 45-degree slot.
No, my dad's.
There you go. And you want a nice, easy slice through the tape. This is not a hard thing to do.
Okay.
Are you left or right?
Yeah.
Left.
Okay, so you can go from bottom to top if you want. It might be easier. Angle the base slightly, just slide it right through.
Go to the Secretary of State.
Well, he has to pay.
If it catches, something's wrong.
He's a loser.
He's a loser, and his birthday was on Monday.
Try it.
Yeah,
You get it?
his birthday was on Monday.
Oh, and
so
you missed it.
Yeah, it's already expired.
There we go.
So he-
Okay. Now put the tape.
He also
razor
needs
blade
a
down.
birth certificate or a passport for.
So you won't accidentally grab that edge.
license.
Okay, make sure you got a good cut. Oh, there you go. Okay, slide them over to the flat spot so you're not taping across the gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make
That's
sure
fine.
he
Any flat
does.
spot is fine. Yeah, anything that's not the gap. Make sure that they're
Yes.
touching each other but not
I'll come up
overlapping.
for a while
You can
'cause
just,
I just got it.
look and run your finger across it
That's
too.
why I'm doing it here.
Yep.
Now.
Okay, grab the razor blade.
Well, I need it anyway.
Cover yourself an inch of splicing tape in some way that does not injure
Driver's
you.
License. So from Michigan,
Oh,
you're able to just.
That's all right. Just
tear it up,
stick a piece of that to
with
somewhere.
it instead of
Here,
having
about
a
here.
passport. So it's really nice.
Cut an inch off.
But you need your passport or
Hang
your
on,
birth
hang on.
certificate for it anyway.
I'm sorry.
Tape. Push it.
Thank you.
It'll stick. Okay. Just overthinking it. There you go. And now you use the blade to control the tape, so you want to attach the tape to the corner of the razor blade.
Like this?
So if you're a lefty,
Because that's what he's doing.
right, I'm going to do it like this. Oops.
Am I not in it? No.
I'll do it like
You
this.
Happy day. You didn't keep up with it.
Just a little bit, just enough to hold it on there so you have control of that tape while you're
Sean did
positioning.
it for like
Okay,
a
and
month.
then you just put it right on.
Put it in there, line it up in the groove. Once you get one end down, pull the blade out.
So he started texting people, happy day,
Oh,
every day, and
there
you
you go.
respond, happy day.
Happy
And then you want to put that blade down so you're not going to cut yourself.
Sounds like
Burnish it in.
It's a cult.
I would burnish it. No, that looks okay.
Probably
How does
Well,
burnish?
okay, so push it back into the groove,
Where?
anywhere.
I didn't get it.
And then take your finger and rub across. You have any fingernails? A little bit, like a thumb, yeah. So you can see how it gets darker when it gets fully attached, right? That's what you want.
Oh.
Did not respond to him.
Okay, now you have managed to leave the tape properly positioned in between the capstan and the pinch roller. So just spool the tape back up. Just being either real, doesn't matter.
4 months later. Exactly.
Well, we kept that.
Okay,
we kept that
you gotta get
from
it tensioned right. Yep, there you go. Now you can rewind. I'm gonna go rewind and stop. Oh,
whoops.
yeah. A little further. Okay, now play. And there was your splice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, that's everybody?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. What do you want to do now?
We did our
So
first.
what I'd like to do is just talk about, now that you know how to do this, the next question is where. So can I do a couple of little demos about
You can.
good places to cut and bad places to cut?
Yes.
So I'm going to go forward. There's some speech on this tape somewhere. So I'm just going to go forward and do some fun speech editing because that's really a great way to learn it. It gets you get a really good bang for your buck with speech editing.
So it should, the time stamp should be 11.
Oh, I grabbed the like.
Well, timestamp.
Should
You
be
have to go
11.
back to get to the timestamp. You want to do that?
Sure. Or you can go back.
I'm just looking for the razor blade. It disappeared.
Oh, somebody picked it
I
up.
grabbed it.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't want to start. You want to make sure before you start your tape, have a look at your work surface and make sure the razor blade is not anywhere near anything
Dangerous.
that moves.
Okay, so we are right at the beginning where you made your first splice. I'm going to zero this out.
You said it's about 11.
11 minutes?
Yeah, it's like 11.
11:10. Precision. So this is a lovely real-time counter.
It might not be that far because I don't know where you started.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'll just start around 11 and see what we can get. Many consumer tape machines, because I just have a counter that means nothing. But this is actually minutes and seconds, and it's pretty accurate.
It's minutes and seconds, and it just like it calibrates to what speed we're doing.
Yeah.
It's reasonably smart in figuring out what world it's living in. We're at 11:07.
What does the letter F?
Is that the beginning of it?
Yes,
There you go.
What is the letter?
F sound?
What is the letter F?
So let's. So the next thing, really editing, and you probably know this in DAWs as well. It's all about timing, and it's all about being good at picking your. I'm going to rewind just a tad. It's all about picking your spot and being really careful. Right. So let's just listen and tell me what you want to do with this passage.
What does the letter F sound like as it's being written? How about S? Experimental composer Leah Reed composed an entire musical work with the sounds of drawing and writing. It is called Sketch. Chris Hoff of the World According to Sound podcast has the story.
Leah Reed is a professor of music at the University of Virginia, and she composes pieces of musique concrète, or music made up of recorded sounds.
I'm focusing on taking some of those everyday sounds, whether they're kitchen sounds, writing on paper, the birds singing outside my window, cutting with scissors, and, creating something.
Now I'm going to take out her explanation there because we're a little short of time on this little program that we're making for radio. So she's going to.
I was getting nervous. Sorry, the leader was a little bit long coming out of the tape.
Oh, did you chop
it? Was
it?
in the thread of getting caught, so I just chopped it down.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that little phrase out of there. And so now we have to think about speech editing and listening to what's actually going on in the microsecond of the signal. So we're going to go back. Stop there.
Whether they're kitchen sounds.
So that's pretty much what she said there. And I'm going to go back a little bit further.
Edit button top left.
Become very familiar with this. Okay, so play.
Of recorded sounds.
I'm focusing on taking some of those everyday sounds, whether.
You see where I was listening there, weather. So I'm going to start at weather.
Edit mode?
Edit. Okay.
There we go.
Now there's a breath there. Here's a good lesson for you.
whether they're kitchen.
So I think I want to keep that breath because when I come back in, I want it to sound a little bit natural. So I don't want to just chop the breath out altogether. So let's listen to that again.
Sounds, whether they're kitchen sounds, writing on paper, the birds singing outside my window, cutting.
So there's two breaths there, and which of us is going to feel right? The breath coming into the sentence afterwards, or the breath that belonged to the bit I'm going to cut out?
I like the one that was in the bit to cut out.
Okay, so I'll keep that breath then. Okay, let's do that. You see where already you're getting into really nuanced decisions here?
Yeah. It's a fun experiment sometimes. You can use some Pro Tools. Just
I'm focusing on taking
talking,
some of those everyday
sounds.
sounds.
Put silence for every breath.
So we
listen
want to
back
keep
and
this
you'll get really nervous.
Whether they're
like, come on, breathe.
Now, can you listen to this? There's the breath.
And there's the W.
Just back it off. I hate the
Well, pencils. Let me grab it for you. It's hidden behind the splicing tape.
Okay. Well, there, over there. Okay.
Here you go.
So, whoop, weather. So I'm going to now mark here. You see, tape is so physically helpful. I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to mark this there. And now I'm going to cut it there because I know I'm not going to keep this. So I'm just going to pull this out. Oops.
You have to hit stop and
it'll stop that.
Right? Bottom middle.
Yeah, bottom.
There we go. Now I've got control. Okay, so now I have to find my marking.
I think it got caught.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
Where's that? Is that good?
No. Up behind the pinch.
Got it. It escaped.
Yep.
Now where's my mark gone? There, got it. Okay, so this is the piece I want to keep. So I'm going to, in my case, I'm going to put that on my right-hand side. Just it's a convention is like keep the stuff clear that you want to keep and just kind of know where it is spatially. A lot of this too is about spatial awareness, knowing where you put your things that you're keeping and the things that you don't want to keep. Putting that there. Now I'm going to pull this out and listen to what I'm doing. Let's come off the block there. So let's move it over here out of the way. I'm not going to start the tape. Why would I not want to start the tape at this point?
Because after cutting it, it'll just
fly all over the place. So I'm just going to pull it out by hand. Hopefully I can get this around here. Just going to bring it over around the.
You probably want to keep this out of the pinch roller. Okay, there you go. Now you're clean.
Yeah, and I want to just press edit. Can I do that?
Yep.
Is it in edit?
No. Oh, you because you're going to have to get attention for that.
Oh yeah.
So in this case, what you can do is.
The system.
Try it. I don't know.
Will it let me do that? Pull it in real time?
No, it has to. I'll do it for you. Right? So
Yeah,
here you go. I'm holding the tension right on. Oops.
Yeah, you see, that's what you need to be very careful. Keep your hands and arms inside the car at all times. Right, so I'm going to, like the machines I used to use would be really good and nice and clean doing this. I'm going to bring this around.
This is now a team effort.
Yeah, because it doesn't do it. So you can listen back to what you're pulling out is what I'm trying to do here.
Let me tell a little slack to get the tension rolling.
Got it.
There you go. Okay. So now, if you hang on to that, right, I'm going to put it in edit mode.
Worms, paper, the birds singing outside my window.
There's our. That's what we want, right? That was the breath.
Yeah. Right.
So before.
Yeah, right there.
Right there.
Right.
Is that going to stay there? Let it go.
I think it should be right there.
Okay, let's just do it. Let's mark it.
So you know she's cutting at exactly the same moment before the word after the breath.
Yeah, so
So the spacing sounds natural.
So the spacing sounds natural. This is what we're hoping for here. Where's my block?
Your tool is right here.
Oh, no. Thank you. So hopefully. Oh, I lost the other bit came out in all of that. So I'll go back now and I'll get the other part, the other side of this edit. In figuring out the tension, I wasn't able to keep the tape on my block. Okay, where's that other end?
Here.
So we bring this back now through the tensioner because we're going to eventually put it back on the block. And put this here. As I say, I'm not using the same kind of mechanism. Let's just do that.
Right.
So I'm just doing what you did. I'm lining up my cut to make sure it's really clean. There we go. Now it should be nice and clean, and now I'm just going to get some tape. I'm going to put it on here.
I love that.
Listen for the click.
Yeah.
Rub it down.
Nice.
And then hopefully it should sound right. So now we're going to go make sure we got this path right here for everything. Are we good?
You gotta go through between the pinch roller and capstan.
There we go. In there. Oop. Come on, in you go.
Nope, nope. No, that one, the next one. This one.
Oh, this one.
Nope, nope. That one. The one that's moving. That one. Yeah, there you go.
I should know this. It's always the capstan's always moving. Very good. Yeah. Very carefully. And now I'll just go back a little bit. Rewind. Stop.
At the University of Virginia, and she composes pieces of musique concrète, or music made up of recorded sounds.
I'm focusing on taking some of those everyday sounds, cutting with scissors, and creating something new out of that.
Let's listen one more time. That was excellent.
I've lost it.
I'm focusing on taking some of those everyday sounds, cutting with scissors,
Right
and
there.
creating something new out of that.
Cutting, right?
Yep.
You're watching a pro in action here. This is great.
So now this is a nice thing, because what I want to show you now is there are certain, so there you're worried about timing. Sometimes you need to edit in the middle of something. It might be just the case that you're you might have overlapping, you might have a crossfade that you can't cut through or something like that. And there you can be pretty clever, and actually this is going to be a pretty good example. So I'm going to show you a trick that might come back to help you. Play. So that's a pretty noise-like signal, right? And I'm going to edit some of that out. And the point about that is it doesn't matter where you cut. You don't have to, it really honestly doesn't matter. So I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm going to just make it really short. Now, just for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to make that really, really short. Too much noise. So we're going to keep the beginning, because there's obviously a crossfade here. I'm going to just cut some of that out, just randomly with my pencil. Just take it here, and you can do this. If you're stuck in music and you need to make a cut, and there isn't an easy way, say the orchestra doesn't make a clean entry or something, find something with a lot of cymbals or something with a lot of basically white noise in it that allows you then to.
Stop.
Stop. Oh, this is so annoying. Sorry. It's this extra step that you have to do that is kind of. So I'm just going to cut randomly here. I can really just put that in there like that. I'm just being neat now for the sake of being neat, but it honestly doesn't matter. I'm just going to take a chunk of this and then just throw it on the floor, cut here, and you honestly won't hear the difference.
Assuming she's still within that noise.
Yeah, I just kind of guessed that I've got about 5 seconds of it, so I didn't take that much tape. Up there, and just do that.
Oh, that was fast.
And then make sure I've got my
everything's
path.
good. Just tension it up.
But a career of doing something will get you.
I mean, I used to be way much faster. I could do it in like an edit in half a second.
It's possible to edit on this tape deck. It's not the best deck for editing.
Rewind. Stop.
Music made up of recorded sounds.
I'm focusing on taking some of those everyday sounds, cutting with scissors, and creating something new out of that. There are so many beautiful sounds that surround us in our everyday life.
You didn't notice. I mean, I just made it really short. It lost pace. It wasn't right for pace. It felt too short. But so what else?
You got a question?
Yeah. So like the original sound, did it have an abrupt stop as well, or is that something?
It did. Yeah, but there was more of it before I cut.
Oh,
it was just longer, and I just took the middle out of it. So it did end that way, but because it had we can actually talk about pacing. You can say, let's go back here for a minute. I can put that back in if you want. If you can remember which one it is.
Yeah.
And you didn't stand on it.
No, I think it's going to be this short one here.
Should I put it back in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
we don't know which way around it is, but we can.
we can listen to it.
Yeah, let's listen to it. This is a good thing. Is that the inside? It's hard to feel this time. Is that the back? That's the back.
That's the right side.
Okay, let's see which way around it is.
So let's see what happens here. Ready?
Happens often. You just make a cut and
you're
you're like,
getting-
oh shit, I didn't want to make that cut at all.
I think that's the right way.
That's like, you have to go into your temporary files and take
I'm
it out.
pushing the wrong way.
Instead, you just
Ready?
Yep.
tape off the floor.
You gotta hope that your coworkers haven't stepped on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of hard to tell because it's noise.
I'm going to put it in. It's hard to tell because it's noise. I don't know which way around it was, but we'll know when we put it. Actually, we'll be making some music concrete if it's backwards. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it in one way, and then I'm going to put it in the other way. Make music concrete out of music concrete.
Let's try to find your splice here.
Yeah, I dropped my little tape dispenser.
That's all right. We'll get it.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't know where it is. Oh, here it comes. It's coming. Here it comes.
Okay.
Keep coming. Okay, it's coming right there.
And the last thing I want to do, by the way, before we finish all this, is to do a tape loop with you, just so you know where the history of tape loop came from. So now I'm just going to unpeel my splice, and you can do that by rolling it between your fingers and finding the point.
Bending it on the tape side to get a point, and you can pull it off the tape.
Pull it off the tape like this.
If you fold the tape, does that do anything?
Yeah.
You try not to fold it, you just try to carefully unpick it like that. So now I have to remember, this is where you also want to pay attention that you don't twist at anything. So here's my one end that I have. This was the out of my tape. Let's do a little bit, take up some of that there. Okay, this is the out, so I'm going to keep...
You're almost there.
There we go. Right, so now keeping that out. Where's my block? Here we go. I'm going to put... Oops.
Something she's paying attention to that you might not have noticed is, especially keeping, if you have a piece of tape, make sure that the right side of the tape is always facing the heads.
Yeah, so the shiny side is the bit you want.
Because tape is mostly just a piece of plastic.
I'm going to line that up
one
there.
side has a tiny layer of oxide.
I'm going to... It's a little bit sticky, but I think we'll be okay. I'm going to take this piece of concrete music. Is it that? That's the backing of it.
Yeah.
Let me put this on here, and I'll splice this first. Just again, I'm just going to use this to line it up because it's very tactile. And you can do this visually on the block, just the way you did for a regular edit. And I've got those two minutes. There's my tape dispenser.
Right over here.
Thank you. I'm losing all my bits and bobs here.
Right, this is the thing. It's like when you're doing this, you build your workspace so everything's right where it needs to be. We're just shoehorning stuff in here, so.
Alright, so there's my piece of tape on it. I'm not going to play it yet. I'm just actually going to run this right through here now. Just because I know I'm going to go back here. Keeping it so it's straight, paying a lot of attention to keeping everything nice and tight. On there. Other bit here, like that before. So again, just double checking that it's not twisted in that case.
No, it's all right.
And I need to take this piece off here, so again I need to roll this off. It's tape really stuck well.
It almost looks like you could reuse it, but it's curled.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Let me see if I can.
Okay, you know. If not, what is that?
Oh, yeah, it's enough to be usable.
It's a tiny. What was that? That was a little bit of
something.
I could just chance cutting it there.
No, it's okay. Let's just show them what the real world looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I got it mostly off. There's still some adhesive, but I think it'll be fine.
I think it'll be fine. So now I've just put in that piece of tape again, and I'm just going to just splice it. Make sure it goes back in here.
I think you flipped.
Flipped it.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry.
Wait, I think you were tape
flipped my tip. I did.
That's right.
That's
now
why the
you're good, huh?
There we go. Okay. So now I'm just going to line this up again here. There we go. As I say, when I was doing this 5,000 times a day, it was much faster. There we go. Take new splice. Is that good? Yeah. So now we just put this back here, make sure it's got in its path. Again, always double checking that everything is going the right way.
Looks good.
So now we'll just see whether we got concrete or real life. Let's go back a little bit. Rewind. Stop.
Sounds, cutting with scissors, and creating something new out of that. There are so many.
There we are, more music concrete. But I could turn it around now and put it back. But actually, I mean, I can do that. It'll just go back to its original length.
Yeah, we don't have to.
But what I want you to, just before we do that, and then we'll do a tape loop, I just want you to listen to pacing. You said it sounded too short, and you're absolutely right.
Creating something new out of that. There are.
So, Yeah, and we would have had a little bit of more of a gap because you kind of heard it fading out. So that felt like about the right amount. And sometimes when you've got something on tape, you'll just sit here and you'll go 1, 2, 3, punk. That's the right place, and you'll mark that even if it's silence. If something's too long a gap, you'll actually just sit there and time it yourself and go, that's where it should be, just like you would with a DAW. Right.
Trust your instincts on timing.
Exactly, and just kind of, you get better at your gut kind of thing. Should we do a tape loop?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. I hope we have time. What time is it?
It is 11:47.
Excellent, we just have time to do a tape loop. So, what should we loop? Let's actually talk about this first. We have, this tape is moving at 7.5 inches per second. So that means 7.5 inches is going to be a second of tape. So if we want to, we'll set up this loop and then we'll eyeball it to see how much tape we're actually going to need.
So I'm going to need your space. One of these things. I'll move the chair.
So we'll set this up.
No, over here. I need all that space back there clear, right?
Yeah, this is a very spatial thing. It all has to do with the interaction between space and time, and this is the thing you lose in a DAW. You make a loop and it doesn't actually have spatial extent. But here you have to start thinking about, okay, if my tape is running at 7.5 inches per second, and this studio is not incredibly large, so I can't make a huge 5-second tape loop, because how many inches is that?
5 times.
35.
35 inches. So we could probably do 5 seconds. 35 inches, is that 3 feet nearly?
These stands aren't ideal because they're
short.
I wonder if I can get a smooth spot going this way.
Yeah, we need a smooth spot to behave like a capstan almost. And we need to, you see, what you want to do is to get the height right, because you want the path of the tape not to be disturbed. So,
although it can be disturbed a little bit if you're careful.
Right. So
I just as an anecdote, in some of the wild audio collage evenings at the student radio station back in the day, we would have tape loops that stretched from one studio to another, out into the lobby, back into another studio, and then back into the Bray studio.
So can anybody tell me roughly from this tape head to that mic stand and back, how far do you think that is?
We've got 2 mic stands, so we're doing a triangle.
Oh, do a triangle. Oh God, we're getting very posh.
Yeah. So
that's a good.
What do you think this is?
6 feet, or like this? No, like a yard. 3 feet.
So that's maybe 3 feet.
Yeah.
This is maybe
5.
5, and this maybe 4.
Sure.
Okay. So
like a right triangle.
that sounds like 12 feet.
12 feet. Okay, so we got 12 feet times
3, 4, 5 triangle.
Yeah.
Now, how many seconds is that? If we have 7.5 inches per second, how many seconds do we get?
72 inches.
So 1 second. That'd be 5 out of 6. 5 divided by
2 seconds?
10.
Almost
maybe?
2 seconds.
No, 10 seconds, I'd say.
Okay.
Wait.
72 inches.
72 inches.
Wait, no, 12. Wait, how many feet was it?
12 feet.
12 times 12. Wait, hold on.
12 times 12.
12 times 12.
144 divided by 7.5.
That was like 20.
Yeah, it's like 20.
20 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, a little less than 20.
Okay, let's listen to this for 20 seconds. Do you want to? Who wants to reset this timer here?
Yeah. Go.
Play.
So many beautiful sounds that surround us in our everyday lives that if we take a moment to listen, we can really hear those beautiful subtleties in timbres, colors, and intricacies.
To compose this piece, Reed used highly sensitive microphones to capture the individual sounds of writing and drawing. Here she is.
Let's do it. Cut on his.
There. Okay.
Right there, where he starts to talk.
He starts to talk. Oh, where's my? Oh, there it is. So we're just going to literally make a loop here, and we're going to go back then and pick up the start, and we're going to join the 2 ends together, and then just run it around all these stands, so you get to hear the loop, and then we can just make it shorter and shorter. This is a very long loop. It probably isn't that much used for music concrete. Well, yes.
A lot of times you make it,
I am keeping
really
this.
short,
Sorry. So this is what I'm keeping. This is what I'm turning into the loop. So I'm going to put that there. Oh, actually, what I want to do is go back, isn't it?
That's okay.
We can do it this way. We're working backwards, so I want to keep that.
We just guessed at the time. If we wanted to get really accurate, we would do it. A lot of times what we did with tape looping was not use pre-recorded. So
now what we need is our extra take-up reel. Have we got one? Oh, actually, you know what?
I do. I think down in our bin here.
See, I don't want to.
Yeah, I can get another one.
Yep.
Oh, you've got one handy, good. Because yeah, I've got
And I
one.
might even just where's my leader? I might even just to be safe for the moment. You don't need to do this, but I'm just being super careful because I don't want to mess up the end of my loop. So I'm going to put a bit of leader tape on here so that I can wind it back onto the spool and not damage the end of the tape. Do you see what I'm doing? Because remember, I have to put it through that slit and go back.
Oh, wait, you're upside down.
Sorry. Oh, it's on leader. It doesn't really matter.
I know, but it just makes me nervous.
Okay.
It's just a habit of trying to keep the right side of everything.
I know. Because leader's just leader.
I know leader's leader, but if it's aligned with the markings on the back side of the tape, right, then you know that the tape is in the right direction.
Oh, you visual people are so.
It's true.
Right. Okay. So that's just a safety. This is kind of like a. Oh, that's bad edit. Sorry.
Put it back together.
Screwed. I think what happened. Okay, let's do it again. Yep, we can probably do that if I put it back on there. It just didn't stick, the tape didn't hold it down, so I'm just going to put it back in the groove. I'm trying to do I'm doing a bad thing here. I'm trying to hold it when I'm doing it. So
you need a third hand.
This is 3 hands. Yeah, okay. So stop. Right, now this one I'm going to reuse my tape if I can. That's right. I'm going to try and get this lined up and do it properly. Tape out of the way.
Looks like you're bending it down in.
I know, I'm just trying to get it back.
Here.
There we go. Is that good?
It looks okay. It'll survive.
It'll survive for the time I need it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just basically giving myself a little bit of how much do I need?
So we're going to loop from the...
Yeah, well, I'm just going to spin it back a little bit first to get back to the beginning. So I'm just going to put some leader on here to protect the end of my loop so that when I splice it together, it isn't all mangled by the actual tape machine. So now I'm going to bring that back there. Does everybody see what I'm doing? Yeah.
Just adding some...
In there. Is that good? Around here.
So you want me to just pull this away?
Yeah, and just wind it around that.
Okay, I'm going to...
Well, you can wind it around that and run it back if you want.
Well, I was just gonna...
Oh, you're going to do it that way? Okay.
You have good our math.
See.
So where do we... Oh, we lost her.
Yep.
What happened?
It's the mechanics of the tape deck.
Did you lose it? Do you want to do it again?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go to edit. So what happened is because the tension roller reached a certain point and went out of edit mode, and this wanted to take back tension.
So
that's what's going on here.
This is, it's not an ideal machine for this.
No, not at all. Here we go.
Timbers.
We just pick a spot in there.
Yeah, we can do that one, yep.
How about right there? Keep going, here it is.
Got it?
Nope, wrong head. There you go.
Just do that one. Okay, I'm just doing what you did. Yep, it's okay, we don't need it now, so just grab that. And so now, instead of what we're going to... I'll just take it off, put it back in. Where'd it go?
Something's... Hang on, you got something whack here.
Sorry.
Sorry, we looped ourselves somewhere.
We did. There.
There you go.
Right, okay, so if I go back, where's my mark gone?
This is, okay, so here's the original incoming tape in here, my hand.
It should be here somewhere.
Do you want to, what are we looking for?
My mark that I just made.
Generate. I saw you make one.
Yeah. Where'd it go?
You got it? No?
There. Is that it? It went away.
Uh-oh. Maybe it's over here.
Let's do it slowly.
It was right there.
God damn it.
So this is our tape loop.
Oh yeah, and so.
Let's just find it again.
Yep.
So hang on. We've lost our loop. It's okay. Let me just.
I'll leave it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm running out of hands here. So, if you would push the edit button.
And there's missing.
Use highly sensitive microphone.
There's some around here, yeah. Is that it?
See a mark there? Anywhere?
No.
Oh,
Let's make another one.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and mark that. It'll be fine.
Sorry about that.
So again, we're working with the concept here.
Yeah, this is
It's
a
bit loose in the actual execution.
You know, if you want to do this for real, you'd sit down and you'd make several tries of this because this would be, So I'm editing now the end. This to the. What am I doing?
What is the ideal machine for that?
There is no ideal machine.
Yeah, they all have their own quirks.
And this, in the right environment with enough practice,
yeah, this could
will work fine.
Yeah. Okay, so what am I? This is the in of my loop. Where's the out?
That's the end of your loop?
Yep.
Okay, hang on to it.
Where's your bit?
Oh, I know why, because we made our loop way shorter.
Ah, too short?
It's okay.
We'll just do it.
It'll all work.
This is the in.
So it's going to be interesting.
In fact, it would be more effective, I think, because normally you don't want them that long.
I know, but visually it's so much fun. I know, us visual people, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Nope, that's not it.
It's on the floor.
Oh.
Yep.
Thank you.
Slip.
Okay, here's one end.
Okay.
And I've got the leader end.
Okay. And we'll just do that. This shouldn't have been this hard. Yep. And then the other one.
Leader end right there.
Thank you very much.
And once you get it connected, I will retension everything.
And it should then play it.
Okay?
Yep.
Once you pull it out of there, drop it into the tape path.
Shall I put it around the tension?
Yep. It's got to just like
it would. So we're basically bringing it in on the edge of the reel, like so that the machine thinks it's actually coming off the reel.
And also it keeps it aligned to the tape pad.
The head tape.
Now I'm retensioning with the mic stands.
Tell me when you're ready.
I will. Hang on. Okay, let's give it a shot. Oh, I need a little more tension, I think, on the... Okay, go. I got it.
Got it?
Yep.
Visual sounds of writing and drawing.
And now we've hit the leader, and it's stopped for some reason.
Okay, so I'll take the leader out now. Oh, can we take the leader out yet?
No, let me just... So, let's get a blank reel in here.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be easier.
Okay, yeah.
Just pull that one off. It'll go. Just keep spinning.
Yeah. Can we see? You got, yeah, you got it.
Almost there.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, sometimes these guys... there we go. Because they offset when they lock, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Got it in the reel? I can't quite see. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tighten this back up. And...
Should we take the leader out? Or?
Well, let's play it first. Let's...
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Oh.
I didn't like the leader. I don't know why.
Capture the individual sounds of writing and drawing.
Okay, so we're going to make a reel that says capture the individual sounds of writing and drawing and that little bit of stuff. And now we're going to attach. It's going to be shorter.
You go ahead and pull out. I'm giving you slack so you can take out the leader.
take that out. The reason for putting in the leader in the first place is I just tend to do that when I'm making loops, just because you're just messy.
So the tapes won't deteriorate, like,
of course they do.
Against.
You're doing all kinds of damage to this stuff.
Okay.
It's part of the process.
Did I lose my other?
Do they like deteriorate faster though when they're like frictionizing with the...
Yeah, well, this is a fairly smooth surface. I mean, if you wanted to get serious about it, you could put, rollers on things to make them work, but here's your incoming end.
Okay.
I just couldn't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In an ideal studio sense for doing the loops, would you have an actual stand that's specific for the looping instead of mic stands?
Sure.
This is twisted.
I mean, mic stands are convenient.
Is that twisted there? Can you just
I don't think so. Let me check.
Did it get eroded?
Hang on. Let me have the end on
Eroded from
Guess you're good now. I think you were good.
I think so.
I'm just going to chop this because I had a little
possibly.
bit of
I think if they're wet.
Oh.
Yeah, I think mostly if it gets wet in any way.
So, yeah, tape loops are an interesting thing. You should, this box here, the Chorus Space Echo, that's mine. I donated it to the studio. When I used to do a lot of live sound, it was a very convenient way to get echoes and different kind of effects really quickly. But if you open the top up, there's two screws. There's actually a tape loop in there. That's how it works. And if you want to play with it sometime, I encourage you to talk into it, and then there's a variable speed and also 3 speed selections. So you can just say something and immediately go, la 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 la. It's a really interesting way to just sort of play around with that kind of stuff.
It's a really cool piece of gear.
You ready?
Hang on. Something's... Can we tighten it up here?
That's there, yep. Oh, this one, this tension is missing. Hang on, do you want that tension? Yeah. There you go. If you remember old-fashioned answering machines, the thing that played when you first picked up, was a tape loop.
Oh.
In a cassette show.
Yeah. You ready?
Ready.
Oh, tension. Got it. Do you want me to hold it?
No, I think it should be just a tensioning thing. I can get it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Drawing. Capture the individual sounds of writing and drawing. Capture the individual sounds of writing and drawing. Capture the individual sounds of writing and drawing.
Indeed. It sounds like the pitch is changing a little bit.
Capture the individual sounds of writing and drawing.
Tell me when you're about enough.
Capture the...
So there you go, tape loop.
Tape loop.
So
when he's saying capturing, it sounds like the pitch is lower. Is the speed?
It sounded to me like his voice was pitching up and down a little bit, which I think was just due to the tension.
The tension.
Oh, how is the tensioning changing?
Well,
because
the mic stand.
The mic stand is flexing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Which is why I like to do 2 actually, because this is a kind of a tight angle. If you do 2 of them, you get a little more leeway. You can avoid different parts of the tape machine and stuff like that.
So the tape machine is basically doing a whole lot to make sure that tension, the engineering in the tape machine is mostly about keeping that tension completely consistent, regardless of how fast the tape is going.
Right.
The tape gets a little bit snarled. You can see it sometimes coming up in here. It'll get a little bit snarled, but the machine fixes that. But when you're doing it by hand like this, it's really hard. You just have to mess about with your loop to get it so that it doesn't flex.
And you see in particular, these 2 tension rollers here have a slot in them.
Yeah.
Their job is to get the tape in the right spot, entering the tape path, and keep it there going on the take-up reel. So ideally the tape never touches the tape flanges, the sides of the reel. It's just stacked up right in between in a properly aligned machine. So there you go.
There you go.
Now, we did this with everything exposed. In the real world, you don't want to do that. And this tape that actually has a shield for the playhead, for all of them, but it's mostly for playback. So in order to absolutely maximize eliminating any RF interference, everything's closed up in grounded metal. But we wanted you to see what was going on.
Cool.
And in this case, it probably wouldn't matter anyway. But in high-end studios, when I was doing this voiceover, people are paying a lot of money for what we're doing. And so the last thing the engineer would say is, shield, please. And the guy somebody's running the console and somebody's running the quarter-inch machine, because that's where we get all our source tape. Last thing you do after you've done the edit is pop that shield back up. Okay.
Anything else? How are we doing time-wise? Are we more or less there?
Yeah, it's 12:03.
What time do you want to end?
12:30. That's when the food is expected to arrive.
So, I mean, anything else you want us to try, or want to try anything yourself?
Okay. So what speed is it running in right now?
7.5.
7.5.
So it's got high, low and high, and down is high on this one.
Is it fine to just see what happens
if we run it at 50?
when we run it at 15?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's put
It's
a
not
real
a problem
back
at
on
all.
it.
You want to do that right now?
Just press that back there, dude.
I mean, whatever we have recorded will be twice as fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
We won't do it with the tape loop because that's just too hard.
I'm just gonna spool this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what's going on there. And you notice when we were editing, we were listening to things backwards. After a while, you get very used to recognizing words backwards.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things I recommend trying. And you can do this in Pro Tools. It's just fun. Record something, play it backwards, train yourself to say it played backwards, record that, and then play it backwards.
And then, yeah.
So basically, you've turned yourself around, and it comes out interesting.
The reflection is really cool.
Yeah. I did a
rap song backwards.
Does anyone remember the TV show Twin Peaks?
Yeah.
So they did some of that.
There's actually a band that's done that.
Recorded backwards and then played forwards.
Tally Hall.
When they're going in reverse and talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like weird dream sequences. Yeah.
Or whatever. That's cool.
So one of the foibles of this deck is that the tension arm on the take-up reel wants to drop out of position.
Perfectly backwards. Because the movie has a bunch of. Oh, have you seen it?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
that
he's actually doing it backwards. And it's like perfect.
He's gonna register.
Yeah, that movie's nuts.
Mine's at 130. So.
Okay, so.
Because they didn't want to do two.
There you go.
This is it recorded at normal speed.
So they just did it.
This song plays.
Oh, actually, it was wrong. It was the opposite.
Forwards.
This is high speed. Which is.
Should be an octave higher if we get it right.
But this is normal. So we were at 15.
Where we were? Okay.
Which is interesting because the labeling is completely different than the power button. Which is why I thought we were at low speed. So this is high speed.
This is the correct.
How much control do you have?
That's low
for
speed.
like speed? Is it just one?
Yeah, it's just 2 settings on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. And some machines do have variable speed for playback. You don't really want variable speed.
Well, this does have variable speed.
Oh, let's do variable speed playback again.
Yeah, there's 2 sliders.
But then there's also an enable switch, so you can't be accidentally off. Here.
Honestly, do you want to mess around?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just a slider. And I think one of them is so there's coarse and fine.
Yeah, there you go. You can all yours.
So good. Here, if I just did a fine one, it's the micro changes.
Yeah, you can't really
But the
hear.
coarse, you really hear.
It's even funnier on the speed, but
You can like recompose the tune.
Oh, yeah, I guess we can get rid of the switch.
I don't know, this is actually good.
For guitar players, it's like having a whammy bar. And then, of course, bypass is always lovely because. Yeah. So there's pitch control on that. There's a variable like this, and then there's also just large steps. Want to play with? Yep.
If you wanted to record, where are the inputs for, like, if you wanted to plug in a mic?
They're on the back.
Oh,
You wouldn't plug in. There's no mic preamp in here.
Oh, there's no.
No, you go
So
through
it
the
should go
DAC.
through a console.
Oh, okay.
This is a
And we
professional.
actually, if you want to do this, there's something I really want to do with you guys.
Okay, go for it.
Next Friday.
Oh, okay.
Like, when are we ending?
12:30.
12:30. Okay, well, we can maybe set it up, but I want to have you talk into a microphone, wearing headphones, and we'll go from sync to play.
Yeah.
and try and keep talking while listening to yourself delayed. It's not possible.
That was a trick we used to do at the BBC.
Yeah.
If we didn't like a presenter,
It was not just the BBC.
we would start giving them their feed delayed, and they'd start slurring.
They start trying to slow down to catch up with it, and then the delay gets long. Yeah.
You can lose your job that way. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you can blame the engineers. Okay.
Anything else you want to do?
So with the remaining time, I would at least like to, let's see, we do have like 20-ish minutes. Yeah, if anyone has questions for Sheila or Tom. The other thing is, before we jump into that, I think it would be cool to just ask you guys what you want to do most in the next session. Well, first of all, when we get a show of hands, you guys don't have to decide now, but are you planning to come to the next week's session? Raise your hand if you are.
When is it?
Same time. Friday.
At some time.
9:30 to 12:30.
I might have to leave early, but I'll be.
Okay. I might be a bit late because I have a research meeting, but
understandable. Okay.
So basically, that was yes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
good
was
because then
thinking,
you'll have this to build on.
I'll tell you what my plan was, and you guys can decide if that's what you want to do. So I was thinking we do have, so we just used like a couple reels here, so we have more spare reels. If we really wanted to go full musique concrète.
Musique concrète.
You want to become French, huh?
Yes. We could try bringing in things that make really weird sounds and try tracking it live to tape, and then also try to edit it. Like each person goes up one at a time, makes some sort of edit.
You come up with it. Oh yeah.
Although I feel like that would take up a lot of time. Also, there's a lot of cool techniques I guess we haven't gone over yet, right?
Yeah. What are you
sort of.
thinking,
Maybe like delay or
well, tape loop.
Let's
see.
see.
Delay. But again, so the thing about it, doing delay is you just need a live source for it to make sense, right?
Right.
Which is like what.
So
that's
actually, you could set that up next week. So what you're doing in that case is you're making a tape loop that you're recording in real time. So remember that your record head is before your playback head. So you're just bringing the loop has to come out from between the record head.
This is your delay.
Yeah.
The space between the two heads.
So you just bring the loop out from between the record head and the play head. So the longer the loop is going in this way, we put the mic stand out here. It would get recorded, it would go around a journey, and then it would get played back. And the amount of time you have there, the amount of loop.
Yeah, you know what? I think I could actually make that happen on this deck too.
Feedback.
Because this is a roller right here, so I can loop around it and go out and come back.
Then you can't do feedback on this, but you need
Well, again, so what is feedback, right?
Yeah.
Feedback is a signal coming back around and building on itself.
So that means you have to like record the playback and like another tape machine or something.
It's hard to get that with just one tape deck.
Yeah, because you have to get rid of the erase heads in the way.
Right.
So I'm sorry, I'm just fixing.
Could it be done if it was like communicating with a dog?
Yeah, if you had a, I have to think about how to do that because I've never tried to do it with,
between like a tape
specifically with a tape deck. Usually feedback you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
But, so.
I mean, yeah, normally you would do something like, the best way to do it is actually put a speaker out in the hallway.
Right.
With, that's how you get or just.
Or
that can get you
something somewhere between, reverb and feedback. Just depending on what you're doing.
Kind of, yeah. Well, have a think about it and see if we can come up with a way. Delay normally is not usually done, feedback is not usually done through the tape deck because it's specifically designed to avoid that, right?
Right. But when you say feedback, I assume you're talking more about an ongoing loop, an ongoing echo, right?
Yeah, and it like fades away.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you want to play with that, seriously, that's what that box is. That's what it's built for.
I've like set the feedback like over like 100, so it rolls, and then I will like put it really low, and the sound completely.
Yeah, there you go. There you see.
Yeah.
But that's meant to be able to do that kind of multiple repeats because it'll feed back onto the recording it's making. as a separate
And it's
source.
doing that with one tape machine inside, or?
I don't, I haven't opened that box up in a long time. But I think the way that it works is it actually takes the play and then we'll delay it internally and bring it back in to the next record. So I have a live input and a delayed, and the delay keeps coming back in to build
into
up.
live,
right.
yeah.
Multiple repeats.
So actually,
Because eventually it stops if the live input stops.
I was thinking about this. Does anybody know whether Alvin Lucier did I'm Sitting in a Room, did he originally do it on tape or was it always digital?
I don't know.
Because more recently people have done it digitally, which makes sense. But the reason I'm asking is because in addition to the sort of filtering effect he's getting from the space, if he did it on tape, the other thing we didn't talk about today, but you can probably cover next week, is the dynamic range and how that changes every time you record.
And yeah, so there's some talk about that in the document that Lucas will make sure you have access to.
It should be shared, I think.
Yeah, okay, good. Because a lot of times, what was interesting when we went digital, a lot of people said, but say, I like the way it sounded before. And so there's some current studios, like this one, we have an analog console going right to digital recording, right?
Yeah.
But it's all analog, right? So what some studios have done, and there's a studio in town that I actually helped him buy his Ampex 24 track, where he would run everything through the tape deck, take it off the playhead, and then record that digitally. So he gets all that analog warmth, as people describe it, which is actually tape saturation, crushing dynamic range a little bit. There's a lot of things that happen when you do having to do with the recording level you're hitting the tape with, right? So I talk about that. Like if it's really low, you get the sound of the tape very dominant in what you play back. It's called tape hiss. And digital was basically the winner in getting rid of tape noise. While the original digital recordings were written to tape, it was a bunch of ones and zeros, but they were very sloppy ones and zeros. But on playback, they said, yeah, it's more of a 1 than a 0, that's more of a 0 than a 1, and it actually just then discards whatever information from the tape and rewrites all those ones and zeros brand new to get turned back into analog. So there's no... I'll just read the document. It's a fun read. So,
are there other just weird things you can do to manipulate the tape?
Well, I mean, I suppose you could...
Any other ways to like maybe change up the volume or like change up the pitch of it without? Like,
what do you mean by change up the volume?
Yeah, if you could, because I know the fade is kind of restricted to that 45.
So this particular tape deck has no controls for input or output levels.
So they have to go through the
It's pre-calibrated to be at a certain operating level of, studio standard of +4, in and out, balanced.
Oh yeah, and just going back to one thing. So when you're like, the reason why some DAWs have separate monitoring for input and output comes from tape as well. So if you say you're recording and you want to hear what's going on the input side, you monitor the pre-fade, it's called, and then and then you monitor the output. But in tape, those are not at the same time because there's that tiny little space between the record head and the playback head. So whereas in a DAW, you don't get that. You're just like, it's instantaneous. The input and the output actually happen at the same time. When you're monitoring off tape, if you're watching somebody speaking in a studio, you'll see that they're a little ahead of you, what you're hearing. So you always have to be really careful to remember that you're listening off tape as opposed to electricity.
But even in digital, you should always monitor at the end of your signal chain.
Yeah.
Although in digital, it's virtually the exact same point as your input. On tape,
it's not.
If you're listening to the output of your mixing board and not the output of your playback head, you might play it back after your recording and go, oh my God, something went horribly wrong.
There's nothing on my tape.
The tape was backwards.
There's nothing on my tape.
So you always want to listen to the end of your signal chain no matter where you're working.
And the other thing, of course, in music concrete is you can take a sound and chop it up. It's almost like granular synthesis. You can just chop that sound up in tiny little pieces, like you were doing, just splice, take a sound and flip every piece the opposite way. Say, I'm going to make 1-inch pieces of tape and I'm going to splice them all together and I'm going to flip every second one upside down. There's music concrete for you.
That's a lot of work for
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is.
But you know, you get into the zone.
And now you understand why people like digital audio workstations. Because it's just a few keystrokes.
But you know, it's good. You get into the zone. And you
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, there's a very zen thing about tape.
because it's so
when you're
physical,
working on it.
you know,
Yeah.
you actually get into, you know, I was saying when I sat down this morning, my muscle memory for doing this kind of came back,
Right.
even though it's been, you know, quite a number of years since I did it. But you know, yeah, you know, you're looking for your take-up reel, you're looking for your tension, you're looking for, you know, the path for the tape. And you know, when you get into doing this really quickly, you kind of pull, you cut, you slice, you pop it back, and you just keep going, you know, and you just get into this really nice rhythm of working.
So I wanted to show you about large reels. So you saw how we were having difficulty getting the things off and on these little tiny triangular tape block heads, right? So this 10.5-inch hub is there so that you can very quickly get your tape on and off, right? Just slip it on, lock, boom, unlock it, comes off much easier. Plus, there's just a bunch of reasons this is a professional format. You'll notice there's screws in here. This is, I don't know what this is. Maybe this is splicing tape. Yeah, I think it might be. But this is audio tape. This would be called delivered on a hub. I can unscrew this reel and screw this hub, put those flanges on here. So a lot of studios will have, in some ways it's like film projectors, like movie houses when they did film. They would have a rack of reels, right? And you get a film and you have to spool it off onto a bigger reel to cut stuff together. They just have that stuff. You can buy tape more cheaply if you don't have to buy a reel every time. You buy a platter, put your own flanges on it. And then once you're done, you can put it back in the box unflanged for storage, right? So.
And one of the worst jobs we had at the BBC was, so those things weigh, you know, quite a lot. So we would work with the European Broadcasting Union, and they would ship us, say, an opera. And, you know, a 15-inch reel takes about half an hour recording. So you might get a Wagner opera, which would come in on, I don't know, 15 reels, right? And if you take the flanges off that, it's significantly cheaper to ship. So we would get them literally on hub. And you would slide this piece of card, and you'd be like, holy cow, this thing drops. And you'd slide it onto the bottom flange, and then you put the top flange on. You'd be just hoping that nothing happened, and then you could play it.
So this is interesting because there's plastic reels are thicker than metal reels, and there's a little flange on here that comes off for plastic reels, right? Maybe I'll have that backwards.
Metal is
but the metal reel was flipping around, slopping around in here. So yeah, it's even worse now. So for some reason, this is no longer the proper height for that reel. But when this gets locked down, it should be tight, and it wasn't. So.
And another thing, just.
You don't want to mix reel sizes, by the way. If you don't have to. You can, but
you get the
try
wrong
to
thing.
avoid it.
One other thing, they always stored tape for archiving purposes. Always stored tail out. Does anybody have any idea why?
I do. But I'll let them answer.
Oh, wait. It was because didn't Will and Wojan lines about this?
What?
Eric. That there's like bleed.
Yeah.
It's called
It's called print through. So when tape is stored, magnetic media always want to be magnetic, right? So if you have a tape and there's another round of tape around it, it's got magnetism on it, so it's going to try and bleed across the one next to it and the one next to it and the one next to it. If you store it front out, what's going to happen?
There will be like a pre-delay.
Yeah, you get pre-echo because you're going to get the sort of like, it's going to anticipate what's on the tape. But if it's stored tail out, then any bleed through is going to be like, you know, just reverb.
After the fact. But it's all subtle, but you just don't want to hear it.
You don't want to hear it.
Ahead of it. Plus, typically, you have just played the tape, and it is tail out. And you have a very smooth tape pack, which is also important for when you're storing your tape. Yeah. You don't want it all over the reel. Which fast wind speeds tend to, gets tightened too fast. You want a nice, smooth, even pack. This had, when it's operating, a spooling mode, which is a fast play, no touching of the heads, and a nice, smooth tape pack. So it's perfect for
archiving.
going out for archiving purposes, but it doesn't work.
What about?
And I'm having a hard time getting people to spend money on tape decks around here.
You'd almost be better to look at, for a tape deck, but then if you get one now, you're going to have to do probably a lot of maintenance to get it up and running.
Yeah.
But, they're out there.
Yeah. I mean, you can probably get certainly a home version of a reel-to-reel deck. Good Lord. Quarter-inch tape, quarter track. So you could reverse it if you want, but it's 4 tracks, so it's 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. I will get this off of here eventually.
Did you put that on there and get it stuck?
Yep.
Would you like me to help you?
I'm not sure why it's sticking. Hang on a second.
It's locked.
Yeah, but it's not. It's aligned correctly now. I think it's just
stuck.
Recalcitrant. There we go.
That's why I was just wiggled this one last time. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be good.
Yeah. So was that plenty of new information, fun stuff?
Yes.
So next week you're going to be doing a lot more, but we just thought we'd give you the kind of groundwork this week to get, go.
Yeah, the question about the what more is how
what do you want
to do it? Because we got one tape machine. I think I might have one other splicing block.
Did you get splicing blocks? Oh no, we only have one of them.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so we have one other splicing box where somebody could practice editing, and then one tape machine where you could actually be doing a project. So maybe what you could do this week is decide on a project that you can all do together, and just do some pre-planning for, maybe go out and get some sounds on a DAW that we can dump onto a reel. Decide, just make a composition, make a music concrete.
Another thing you could do, I know this is more about the artistic side, the music concrete stuff, but just understanding more about tape decks, we could have somebody who's a musician here. Anybody? Okay. Play piano, play anything? Okay, so we could record something at different levels on tape. So you can hear the difference. In a digital audio workstation, you always want to err on the lower side because you can normalize, right? There's no penalty for that at all. But on tape, you want to get it right. Not too quiet, not too loud.
Oh, because you can't gain after it's recorded.
Yeah, when you turn up read that document. The thing about tape, anything you record to tape is forever bonded to the medium of tape. Right? So when you play it back, get the sound of the tape, hiss, plus the sound of what was recorded.
Is there such thing as clipping?
It is. But then I was going to say, the next thing is you overload the tape deck and you start with oversaturation before you actually get to clipping. So is it a good sound? It's an aesthetic choice.
It's kinder than clipping because what happens is you literally, the magnet, so the way the record head works, it creates a magnetic field, and one side looks like a horseshoe, and one side of the record head basically picks up what's going on what the magnetism that's coming off the other side, or the signal that's coming off the other side as a magnetic signal, passing it along the tape as it does so. So that's how the tape gets its magnetic information. And if you saturate it, basically there's so much magnetism, the tape actually can't take it all. And so it tries its best, and it just gets all, if you can see the signal, it gets splashed. So
it's like why guitar players like to play their Fender Twins really loud.
Yeah. But it's the saturation is and you never really get to distortion because you'll hear the saturation first, whereas clipping on digital, you go from nothing to
done. You're done. Yeah. So there's actually a link in this document I keep telling you to read about atmospheric clipping. Ponder that as a concept. And just imagine how loud that would be. Atmospheric?
Oh, like air?
Air.
Like
how do we hear, right?
Ears?
Sound is the compaction and rarefaction of air molecules.
Yeah.
Right? So I have a movie link. Anybody?
SP.
So I have a link to a movie of a rocket launch that a friend of mine sent me from Wallops Island on the Eastern Shore. And about halfway through, have you ever heard a rocket launch? Not in person, but even on TV or something, right? So it goes from to something that sounds more like tearing paper.
But that's because
it really does change in character because it's so loud that it can't get past being a vacuum, and it can't push air molecules closer together. And so you get this weird change in the character of the sound that I call atmospheric clipping.
So is that like wind? it's like going in one direction.
No, it's because it's so freaking loud.
The air molecules
Seriously.
literally can't move fast enough.
Yeah, they can't get more than a vacuum, and at some point they can't get any closer.
Because when you know, if you look at their sine wave, what it's actually doing is going between rarefaction and compression. But if it can't actually go more rarefied than it is, it just
Which
goes
would be a
flat.
vacuum. This is the floor on that one, right?
Yeah, just hits the floor.
And that's
So-
because it's too loud.
Yes.
Okay. But that would never happen from it being too fast.
So I don't know anything but a rocket engine that gets that loud. I'm sure someone could make something.
I think it's the compression waves are moving so quickly they pile up on top of each other,
Yeah.
and you just get like, yeah.
It's just like the shock wave that does it.
And it could, I mean, so there's a lot of complex physics going on at that point, right? But I just like the idea of atmospheric clipping being central to what you're hearing, because it really is a change in the sound. It goes from being loud to like being square wave.
So it's like actually like in real life, like if you were there in real life.
Yeah, this is somebody's phone that recorded it. I mean, you hear little pops and distortions on his phone, but then you hear the change in the nature of the sound coming from the rocket. And that's what I'm talking about. It's about halfway through. It's a short clip. It's fun.
Now I want to hear a rocket.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
How many people went to the eclipse?
I did.
Good.
Yes.
Totality was
And you got totality? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's 99.5 is not the same as totality. It's just not.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah. It's so worth the effort.
Here? I wasn't in Ann Arbor.
It was 99. It was 95 here.
Did it feel
This one is 2017 was the last. I went to Tennessee and saw my first totality, and I was like, I got to do this again.
Yeah.
So I went to Dallas, and it was like, looked like it was going to be cloudy all day, and it was overcast a lot of the day with occasional breaks in the clouds, but just as we got to totality, there was this big opening in the clouds. It was great.
Oh, wow.
Lovely. And just, you're watching it come and then you're watching it go, and just think about the celestial mechanics involved in that. It's just like...
And for me, because the boundary between like 95 or 99% and 100% is so sharp that I got a real sense of the size of the moon. It was incredible. It was amazing.
Nice. Yeah, it's worth the effort. I think the next one, Spain in 2026 would be a good place to go.
Spain, yes, 26 and 27. That has two.
Yeah. I mean, it happens about every 4 years somewhere.
It happens every 170 days somewhere. It's just that it usually falls in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're never. And since most of the Earth's surface is ocean.
Yeah. It's just being able to see it.
Well, that makes me feel better, and that's happening much more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting there is the hard part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
We're at time, so
Thank you, everybody.
see you guys in a week. If you got any
Yes,
questions,
that sounds great.
Lucas, you feel free to put people in touch with me directly, or Sheila. I won't speak for you, but
Well, I can't be here because I'm going to do a faculty meeting next week.
okay. Well,
So have
whatever.
fun.
Anything?
You too.
Any questions beforehand? Feel free. If you're thinking you want to do something and you're looking for make sure we have the tools ready. Let me know in advance. That's much easier for us to do.
Next Friday, Pat Showcase. Just saying so.
Senior
Showcase. Lunch will be provided. Turn up at 10. Hang around, see all your friends work.
Unfortunately, that's the same time as my workshop. So.
But oh yeah, after that. But in the afternoon, come over.
Yeah,
You
after.
don't actually technically don't have to provide work.
Oh. Anyways, it is covered by government.
Okay. Well, then come over after your lunch and have more food.
Give them a big hand, everyone.
Really
appreciate you guys
I
coming.
can talk about this stuff all day.
Yeah, it's good fun.